So, previously I escaped from the city. And now, I don't know, it's the old site. Pretty much a big old decrepit sort of castle type ruin. Theo talked about it last time. And obviously falling asleep at this mysterious tombstone that for some reason I can't read. And I mean, if Batman has taught us anything, it's that you can't read in dreams. So it's a dream. Also, if Batman has taught us anything, it's that don't trust Batman. That's super ridiculous. Who is Batman to say what I can and cannot do in dreams? I mean, it's like, at what point do you think it's like, oh, I can't do this logical thing, I must be in a dream? It's like, what about all the other... If they really wanted to, you know, prove that it was a dream, he would have, like, realized that there was no city that existed outside of Gotham or something, you know? Because, like, your brain just can't generate a bunch of new information. It's got to be something that you either expect or something. So anyway, that's enough about Batman the Animated Series. Hey, you can exploit, there's a dash exploit where what you can do is, upon a screen transition, you get your dash restored. And clearly it's being used here to obvious extents because for the most part, each level is kind of, I don't know, self-contained. You usually don't get a whole lot of screen transitions that you can screw around with here, which essentially, at least to some extent, gives you the ability to fly. But because I already knew about something that, there's a pretty clear hint about this earlier in the level. And if you're kind of paying attention to when you are doing screen transitions, it becomes pretty obvious. That said, this was the first time that I actually tried it out, which is why it took me so long to get up here. And it's the Crystal Heart for the area. One of the easier ones to get, but it does require some weirdo knowledge of kind of how the game system works. Interesting. Boy, do I really have to turn off the achievements there. It's breaking the kayfabe. But anyway, that's because I did window capture instead of game capture this time. I'm playing it in a window with a keyboard. It's just the perfect way to play this game. Anyway, now that that's out of the way, and thank God, because it's nice to have an easy Crystal Heart sometimes. At this point of the game, at this point of recording, I am doing the B-side of Chapter 6. And Chapter 6, let me tell you, real devilishly difficult Crystal Heart to get, but I'll get there in time. In the meantime, you might notice a little starry, skied cubes everywhere. And also some surprisingly easy to get, I was gonna say mushrooms. No, strawberries. I don't know why I was gonna say, anyway. But yeah, I'm sure that's nothing. I'm sure it probably has absolutely nothing to do with the new gimmick that gets introduced in these areas. Yeah, speaking of mushrooms, the Celeste in general follows the sort of game design of a Mario type game, where each chapter introduces a new type, gets rid of the old gimmick, introduces a new type of gimmick, and then that gets exploited throughout the entire area, even more so in the B-side, until finally, until finally you reach the B-side and you do the B-side, I guess. And then it pitches it away for a different sort of gimmick in the next area. This one is also a little less, it's somewhat less linear comparatively. You can see a bunch of different little secret areas. I knew about that one there, but it's also obvious. I'll say this, it is nice that some of the secrets are pretty well telegraphed because, oh man, just thinking back to some... I think this mirror is broken. Well, now I think it's literally broken. Oh well, I mean, that's probably normal. This is a dream and everything. And besides, it's pretty clear that Celeste is kind of a super magical mountain. Music kicking in there, that's some good stuff. But yeah, this is how you're supposed to know that there's a strawberry down there. So here's the proper gimmick of the area. These weird celestial blocks that look like something straight out of Candy Constellation in a Kirby game. Or Milky Way Wishes? Which one am I thinking of that had this sort of background on it? I don't know, one of the SNES games. So what's the deal? You dash into it, and then you continue dashing through it. You can choose what area you get into it, but you cannot choose what area... But you cannot change the direction that you go after you dash into it. it restores your dash, and you can use the momentum to jump super far. Here's also a new little type of gimmick here, strawberry seeds. If you touch the ground while you only have a strawberry seed, it disappears. So you need to be able to get each one of the strawberry seeds without touching the ground. This one's actually not too difficult because, like I said, your dash restores upon dashing through the, I don't know, let's just call them cosmic jelly. Yeah, jelly cubes, how about that? And then when you get all three, it just turns into a strawberry and you collect it as normal. But yeah, the jelly is an interesting one because you have to kind of angle yourself properly to be able to use it to its fullest extent. And otherwise it's just a completely solid object. So you gotta be careful because it could easily throw you into a wall, which will kill you. Yeah, this is the one place that they have one of those stoplight. Yeah, I saw that. The one place that they have one of those stoplight platforms. That sort of gimmick doesn't usually appear in different levels. Like I said, the Mario type design is very strong in this game. I mean, for God's sake, when you do, I don't know, encounter hostile enemies, you can also just jump on their heads to hit them, or to, like, well, incapacitate them. I don't think you can actually kill anything in this game. Not really all that combat focused, let's say. Yeah. As usual, the new gimmick of this area is kind of shown to you if you try to go collect all the strawberries. It's a pretty neat way of doing design, where you're able to kind of get an idea of, like, so how do you do this? And that one's really simple. You just dash through it, you dash restores, dash to the next one, so on and so forth. But it's like, it does show you that that's kind of how it works. Also, you know, this really doesn't need to be a dream. It's like, there are weird, nonsensical sort of obstacles that appear throughout the entire game. You don't really need to come up with some sort of specific conceit for this. And that was actually not a bad jump, but I couldn't remember if I got caught on the corner and died there, because that is a very easy way to die in this game. To die with this particular gimmick. Run straight into a wall. But other than that, one of the nice things, since you know that your jump is kind of committed as you go through each one of the jelly cubes, you also know sort of, it's a way that you can kind of figure out how you're supposed to deal with it, because there's only so many ways that you can go through a jelly cube, for example. Yep, here we got the main villain of the game, who I believe is called Battlein? Yeah, that's right, Madeline and Battlein. Talking with a skeleton here. I'm sure it's scintillating conversation. Yeah, like I said, not too much for, I don't know what you call it, antagonists in this game, so the actual antagonist is just straight up you. Kind of a theme. You're your own worst enemy in a very literal and metaphorical way. Ridiculous. Finally. Ridiculous. You know, if Madeline played any of the Persona games, this would look pretty, familiar to her. Also would probably save her a lot of trouble later, because, like I said, I have played through most of this game, but not all of this game yet. I don't know, maybe she'll be revealed to be his long-lost sister or something by the end, but, like, oh, God, would that be the worst twist. I like the skeleton appeared to have been cooking something when he died. Also, I guess this is a dream, so not a real... I don't know. Madeline, why are you dreaming about skeletons? Jeez. Hey, put your hair back in that character portrait. Don't break in the fourth wall. So, speaking of antagonists, here's one right now. Also, wow, that was a really stupid death. Also a really stupid death. I'm really trying to press forward, but I keep pressing up and forward at the same time because I'm bad at video games. So, yeah, Battlein, trying to stop you from, well, whatever y'all be doing. So the way that she works is she just follows you in the exact way that, you know, you're going. It's almost going back to the Mario thing, it's almost assuredly a reference to the Galaxy games where you have the cosmic clones which spawn and then follow you in the exact same sort of way. Oh, that's a new platform. You hit the eye? I don't know. You gotta hit all the eye things to move the eye block. It's supposed to be like a shield? I have no idea. But yeah, what Battling really reminds me of is old school Rayman. Specifically yeah, and there's also another very cosmic clone thing. Multiple ones at a time. Instant death if you touch her, but you know, that's how it goes. But yeah, it reminds me a lot of old school Rayman. The final level of the game, once you collect all the lums, the Candy Chateau had the exact same sort of thing with, achievement, whatever. Let's say this, achievements are really nice for kind of having a checklist of what I need to cover in every video, but aside from that, getting kind of in the way now. But yeah, Candy Chateau, Mr. Dark creates a clone of Rayman, and that Shadow clone follows you in the exact same way as this and kills you in one shot, unlike the Cosmic clones, I think. So yeah, definitely a reference that is not the reference. But what do you want from me? I like Rayman. I like the original Rayman. It's a really good game. Even though it's probably the one time you'll see in a 2D platformer having a bad camera. Like, how often? It's super zoomed in. And it's a 2D platform. It's like, how do you screw that up? Hey, pro speedrun strats. Although that did kind of not let me get strawberry there, which is sort of an issue. Ah, well, there's always the cleanup. I mean, hey, each one of these chapters is short enough. As well, for now, it's short enough. Yeah, I'll see you later. This might be a dream, but that doesn't mean that you're gonna stop appearing after this. Yay. But yeah, later on, the chapters start to get much longer, a lot more story, a lot bigger. But these ones right now, still pretty simple. You can see now that Battling stopped chasing me, I have freedom to do whatever, which means finding a whole bunch of strawberries. But also, you can kind of hear the music fading out. Because, hey, danger's over. And I do believe that is like the love theme of Battling there, because it does come up later in the game as kind of a remix or something. So that's neat. Yeah, one of the weird things with Dash is much like the springy platforms, if you're forced up through spikes, you can survive getting hit by them. That was probably completely unnecessary, but I did it anyway. But yeah, if you're forced up through spikes, you can survive them, whether it's through a springy platform or whether it's through getting forced out of one of the jelly cubes. And yeah, I don't really think there's anything else here. After you escape Battling, there's not too much going on. But yeah, if you try to go into the jelly cubes through the spikes, that will kill you. You can only come out of the jelly cube, or you can't dash through spikes ever, pretty much. Mysterious green-haired character. Which, by the way, what is applying power here? I don't whatever. Let's enjoy a little bit of cutscenes. And also an information stand, which, oh, you could probably get like a pamphlet about the magical, you know, mountain that makes all of your demons come to life and try to attack you. Ah, good stuff. No idea who that character is. It's cute. Also, that sort of feeling is really real. Hey, I knew you'd come back. also really like the sprite work. Some good stuff. Yeah, not too much more, and not too much else going on in the level here now that the, you know, main part of the danger is over. Lot more stuff to collect though. Didn't even get the B-side tape. A lot of strawberries didn't get. And then yeah, you can clearly see that the castle sort of continues up here. And this is your big hint as to how to get the crystal heart. Just like even the slightest bit of exploration, which isn't too difficult because again, no danger here. Crystal heart would normally appear in there, and then you go and look at this book here. Book says, hey yo Doug, crystal heart is right at the beginning, but y'all gotta be in a dream. Which I guess that was kind of paraphrasing it, but that's what it says. What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, just I mean, it's really more just know where the location is. Would have been nice if some of the other hearts had that sort of nicety with it. Hey, Theo, I knew you were coming up here. It is not clear exactly what route Theo is taking to be able to get up here. I mean, maybe it's kind of a Silent Hill sort of deal, where if you are an innocent type person or whatever, you should just try talking over video games. That's how I did it. But yeah, if you're a more innocent type person or something that you have an easier time going up the mountain, I don't know. Maybe she accepts some, or maybe he accepts some help from the old woman at the start. Probably helped too. Bunny ears. Yeah, this is the sort of thing that I was talking about last time when I was thinking that Madeline might be a little bit insecure about her looks. I don't know. Yep. Know that kind of person in real life too. Oy. A little bit of backstory. And this is a weird way to kind of follow up on that legacy, but hey, it's the internet age, baby. Get in or get out. What? I don't know. I don't even know what I'm saying here. Well, considering I think that, you know, you and the old woman are kind of the only real NPCs out here that aren't actively trying to kill Madeline, I think I'll probably see you a few more times in the later game. Also, come on, Madeline, for real. So, what happens if this is the first time you've talked to Theo, and you just skipped him in the Forsaken City? Well, you get different dialogue. Not that much different dialogue, but I don't know, I mean, it's something. Same gag as before. I don't think you really have to imagine that. Oh, yeah, also, alternate Madeline is called Little Maddie. Why? Because look, I didn't want to just call her Madeline again, because then I'd probably forget what... Hey! Forget which save file that I was working with. I don't know, whatever, anyway. Alright, same thing, and then past this point, it's all the same dialogue as before. Just continues on... I mean, I think it actually continues on the exact same way. But hey, you get the idea that, yeah, Theo is in fact kind of experiencing the same sort of thing, what with the whole mirror or whatever. Probably not literally. I mean, again, this mountain is super magical, and that mirror is clearly... Well, mirrors have some sort of power. I'm sure that will never come up again. Yep, the exact same layout, except for some reason some little springy platforms, this secret area, and obviously no big jello blocks. You know, I'll say this, they don't really use the whole flying strawberry and the strawberry seed sort of gimmickry all that often. It's something that you maybe see, I don't know, half a dozen times between the two in the entire game. Well, okay, I haven't done the final chapter yet, the summit. At least I assume it's a final chapter. I don't know, maybe there's a secret one or whatever. But maybe at some point there will just be like 50 of them at once. No, Madeline, it might eat you again. Yeah, I mean, that was a dream. I wouldn't really necessarily say that was overwhelming. Yeah, there's kind of a through line for the game where Madeline does talk about how difficult everything is, and because I am doing the insane thing of trying to conquer all of the various B-sides and getting all the strawberries and everything at the same time, I just don't really feel that in the same way. And what can I say? Hey, I want to do the content as it comes up, even though I know that it's going to kind of ruin the difficulty curve entirely. Why? Because that's my own mountain to climb or something. I don't know. Yeah, something interesting is that when you were talking to Madeline there, you had some real bad chromatic aberration. I think that's kind of how the game shows, I don't know, super, what would you call it? Magical stuff going on? Looking like Bloodborne around here. Actually, I don't know. What game has really, really bad chromatic aberration? This one. Yep. Pretty obvious in retrospect, but I didn't see it before. This one, also pretty obvious. Well, I mean, not the part where I get killed by battle. The part where I just do this. Hey, and I managed to get out of it, too. That's what doing 50 B-sides in a row does for you. Yeah, one of the reasons why I didn't really want to do the B-sides one after another was because I also like the idea of not necessarily having to... Yeah, I know Badlands coming up here. I like the idea of not necessarily having to do B-sides one after the other, because, oh god, they're so long and so difficult. Well, I mean, actually, I guess they're not all that long, but they do get longer over time, since they do each one of the B-sides kind of correspond, you know, one-on-one with, well, one-on-one sort of with what happens in the main story, canon story, A-side, whatever you call it. I mean, for example, you do, in fact, evade Badlands even in the B-side. And that's because, you know, it's a fantasy version. Even more fantastic than, you know, being in a dream chased by evil you. Evilu. I don't know. Yeah, just that falling platform makes me wonder if there's supposed to be some sort of quick strat for... Come on, for real. Makes me wonder if there is supposed to be some sort of quick strat for doing, for getting that particular strawberry, but I don't know. Also, I think it's not so much that I didn't see this one. I just, for some reason, oh come on, I had that one too. I don't think it's so much that I didn't see that one. I just didn't realize that I didn't go in it. Kind of a fun little S shape. Oh, expect that to appear a lot later. It's a very classic sort of challenge platformer, needle threading type thing. Also, yeah, it took me forever to find this. I don't know why. It's not even all that hidden. And yet, somehow it is. Come on, man, get together. Embarrassing. Also, the walls aren't covered in spikes, and I love that. I love that feeling. As soon as I get to these the Beat Block Galaxy platforms here, it's just that's when I just decide, you know what? I'm just going to stop thinking. I'll start again when I actually do the B-side. Which, by the way... oh. Let's go. Everyone's favorite. I mean, it doesn't actually take all that long or anything, but it's more stressful than anything else. Oh, this doesn't look too bad so far. Also taking place. Yep. Okay. See, I remember that you could do this. And yeah, I also remember that this was... What, for real? So, Black Moonrise. I don't even know what I was trying with there, but whatever. Yeah, the idea here is that you get that platform while having your dash restored. And also, hey, for some reason, the Bluebird appearing in B-side to teach you a new mechanic. So you know that this is a good one. Oh, man. All right, you remember how much trouble I had with the momentum platforms in the first area, trying to just get that to work over and over, and especially how it near the end of the first B-side, the Forsaken City B-side, it became absolutely essential to be able to chain that together? Well, let's just say there's a lot of cutting that happens here. Oh boy. Also, gotta get used to the fact that, you know, I can't immediately expend the dash. You only get one dash refresh. It doesn't let you, like, infinite dash here. Well, at least this being the second B-side, it's still not terrible, especially because the first couple screens here are here to teach you kind of how to use the new mechanic, because it's weird to think that I think that this might be the only place where a new mechanic gets introduced, and it's not necessarily a new mechanic. The momentum thing you can obviously do even in the normal Chapter 2. Come on, man. Never gonna be a pro speedrunner like this. By the way, for the alternate Theo, I did get there in less than 10 minutes, so that was cool. That's not gonna be breaking any records, but I kind of felt good about doing a little bit of semi-speedrun there. Also did a stream recently where I did kind of the same-ish thing, so nah, I don't know. I am not speedrunning this game. I'm just saying, hey, this game is kind of fun to attempt to speedrun it. It looks like this. Anyway. Hey, Badland's back. And here you have 3 separate little individual, I don't know, chambers to kind of figure out. Also, that was the first area. Not too bad at all. Like I said, it's kind of unusual to have a new-ish type mechanic introduced in a B-side. Usually, the B-sides try as hard as possible to not introduce something explicitly new, something that you would have at least encountered. I kind of talked about last time how the A-side, you know, you got the story there, but it's also kind of an eternal sort of tutorial for the B-side. Not even that difficult. I mean, it's just like you're supposed to go up and then down, and oh yeah, if you run into Badland, well, you're dashing through a platform and she's dashing through a platform. You do die as well. That's kind of annoying, and especially when she has 5 of herself following her, that can be a little difficult to dash through platforms like that. That was weird. I probably should have gotten killed there. Some of that classic pro video gaming, something that should have taken maybe 2 tries, taking 50. This one is at least a little bit trickier on first look, and yet I somehow managed to die. Great. I mean, I guess that's the same sort of idea that I was talking about. Come on. That was the same sort of idea that I was talking about when I was doing the first B-side, where I think for the B-sides they kind of Forsen et al. And crew. Oh, well, at least those crystals come back. Come on, man. Just choking here at this point. Yeah, they try to space out some of the tougher, or at least longer sections, like the last one, with ones that are a bit easier, a bit less taxing. It's it's a nice considerate way to sort of pace these B-sides, which would otherwise just be crushingly difficult all the time, every time. And now that I've finished one of the simple ones, let's go to the much more difficult sort of screen. Look at this jump. You gotta get the momentum dash. You gotta dash upwards onto a little itty bitty tiny little ledge to grab onto. Oh, at that point, it's not too difficult. I mean, that's a usual thing with, I don't know, when you're designing video game puzzles or something like that, that's something I always kind of notice, where what happens is that you sort of, that was the easy part too, you sort of get the hardest part of it out of the way at first, because that's where you put the most of your creativity, and then after that point, it becomes sort of like, come on, oh. It becomes sort of simpler, maybe not necessarily easier, but like that first jump is real tough. And then this other part sort of feels like, well, come on, the first part was the tough part. Here we can give you a little bit of a break. Also, something I didn't even notice while playing this, little physics on the lamps there. That's cute. Overall, I don't know if it's just me, but the old site reminds me a lot of the dungeon in Terraria. You ever played that game? It's got that same sort of aesthetic, and obviously things are very, very tile-based in this game. So you get that sort of a squareness to everything. I mean, for God's sake, the jelly cubes are always cubes or rectangles. In some ways, I think that's kind of neat. They don't necessarily need to be bubbles, and it also makes it very obvious where that was real close. It also makes it very obvious where all of the collision for the where all the collision for these the jelly cubes are. I panicked there. No excuse. Kind of neat to see one of these things so huge, even though again, not a very difficult area. It's really just the battlings that making this difficult. It's like watching it. I remember when I was doing this, it was just like watching it in slow motion, and I'm like, oh. Well, at least I figured out the proper route. I didn't say that I got it, I just said that I figured out the proper route. Yes, battlings. There to be an issue. And indeed, it makes sense, because as near as I can tell, Madeline is supposed to be, what, Madeline's, come on, I did it again. It's supposed to be Madeline's shadow, her shadow archetype, if you will. If you have ever played any of the Persona games, same sort of concept. Carl Jung. I don't think he necessarily came up with it. I don't know, really, 3 times in a row. Like, this is not even difficult. Just go up in an angle, or down in an angle, all of it works. But anyway, yeah, so what's a shadow? You may be wondering. Well, I'm glad you asked. You see, everybody kind of has their own sense of self, something that they recognize as themselves. But then they'll also have an unconscious sort of self, a shadow, you know, something that follows behind them that they're not aware of, but is part of them nonetheless. And I think that what Madeline is supposed to be is she's supposed to be Madeline's form of that. Well, he's got enough time to talk about this as any. Yeah, I mean, you might notice that Madeline obviously is hostile, but, you know, she's paranoid, she's angry, and she's really here to not really hurt Madeline, even though she is literally hurting Madeline in a physical and metaphorical way. But she's here to stop her from getting hurt. She's here to stop her from climbing the mountain. Not necessarily because, you know, out of any sort of malice, but because as her shadow, you know, these are all sort of things that Madeline is feeling herself. She's feeling the anxiety, the fear, the knowing that failure will just hurt her more, and then it would be just easier to give up, to stop this whole pursuit. I mean, climbing a mountain is quite a task, and it would be very impressive if accomplished, but it would also be devastating to her if she failed. And that fear of failure, I think, is kind of feeding into what Madeline is trying to accomplish. I don't know, it's an interesting sort of thing, and definitely will come up later, because obviously Madeline, like I said, main villain of the game. And it's obviously, again, herself. I mean, the fact that, again, she came out of a mirror and, like, in a dream, and this game has symbols, but they're not very subtle, you know? I mean, she explicitly says she's part of you, so, whatever. Come on, come on. The easiest thing, yeah, there you go. Part 3. I did actually write down, unlike the previous part, I did actually write down what the names of these areas are. Let me go pull that up here. Yeah, the previous one was called Combination Lock. I know that I said the second area of the Forsaken City B-side was called Combination Lock. Nah, this one is. And it makes sense, because if you saw the first part of the downward dashing, man, it's just killing me, literally, and metaphor. But, yeah, I know that I said the second part of the Forsaken City was called Combination Lock. That one was called Contraption. This one makes a lot more sense to be called Combination Lock, because that first area was definitely a combination lock. And the first area of the second part of the B-side of Forsaken City, oh my god, that is a sentence and a half. It makes a lot more sense to be called Contraption, because it very much was. Dang. That one was really close, too. And now this one is the B-side of Awake, which was the third area of the A-side, and it's called Dream Altar. I don't know, because it's a dream. The altar I don't really get. A-L-T-A-R, not A-L-T-E-R. That would be meaningful in a different way. Yeah, here's where I was kind of trying to scope it out and being like, what am I missing here? Oh yeah, that's how you did that one. Yeah, I had to do a little bit of extra cutting there, because basically the way that I try to edit these videos is essentially, when I'm watching it, if I think it's too long, that's where I make cuts. It is the simplest way to do editing and super dumb. Yeah, you want to do the... But yeah, that's right. The momentum also carries it so that you can jump in opposite directions when you exit it. That's a really weird thing that was not clear. I remember when I was doing that, I actually had to stop there for a minute or something, just be like, what am I missing? What am I not doing correct here? And of course, oh boy, this one. This is a rough one. Because I was thinking that it's like, oh, you can just rush it, go up and then thread the needle, go up and then thread the needle. It's like, no, first off, it's even longer than that. And second off, you really want to hang onto the walls for this, because you're going to have a hard time hanging onto the walls, well, otherwise. This thing is all about conserving your dash, because each one of the jellies here being covered in spikes it makes it rough. It's a rough and tumble sort of area. And it's also, again, one of those ones that's just not clear exactly what you need to do the first time you go through it. Really could have used one of the viewfinder type deals. I didn't actually look up what those things were called. I just... That word came to mind right now, so I don't know. I think this is one of the last little areas here. Not the actual last. This is the last area of B-side, the Dream Altar, but I don't think this is the last screen. But you can really see that Thorson was pulling out all the stops for this one, because, whoa, man. A lot of precise jumps, a lot of making sure that you understand that whole momentum thing. Where you need to go through it and then go back through it. Ugh. Ugh. Thread needle, make sure you got that dash, and then you're good. Whew. Now this is definitely one of the mercy sections that I was talking about earlier. Like, holy crap. Needed it after that last one. The funny thing is that I keep using these viewfinders to try to scope them out as much as possible, but nothing really No. Just no. It's... Oh, man. Anyway... Yeah, I keep trying to use the viewfinder to scope it out, but nothing beats actually, nothing beats actually just trying to do it for yourself, let me tell you. Like, learning is the best... Learning is the best, No, experience is the best teacher. What? Man, I'm losing it here. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, that's how you're supposed to do it. Like, duh. Like, duh. I don't even. Record for 40 minutes here, and that's when you just start going into Valley Girl mode. Hey, any other 90s kids remember Batman the Animated Series and Valley Girls? Oh, man. Anyway, yeah, pretty simple puzzle here. Though that little corner there is annoying. That is probably... Is that the first time? It's at least close to one of the first times that I properly use the sort of half down on a ledge to dash forward and not into the wall. It's a thing. You got the momentum jump down? Because this is pretty much a check for that. I mean, otherwise it's not too difficult, but... Oof. Anyway, it doesn't really matter because I'm a cool guy, so I don't actually need to do each one of these momentum jumps. As you'll see in about 5 seconds. Also, you get a little spring platform there because, I don't know, why not? You could just jump up from the place where the viewfinder is, but I don't know. Whatever. All right, we get it already. Jeez. Go get a nice shot of the gooey jello platforms. It's a nice sort of look. It does give off a very dream quality, what with seeing the entirety of space kind of in the background there. This is neat. I use the viewfinder for less time in future videos. Trust me on this one. Hey, like I said, I already got chapters 1 through 5 already edited. I'm just bad at doing commentary. I mean, if you watched this far, I'm sure you've realized that. Yep, there's where I said, you know what, I've had enough for today. But then, yeah, see? You don't need to do all these crazy jumps. Just need to angle it proper. Easy. Also, I don't know, this little section there feels like you could have easily put that in, I don't know, like just the regular area would have been, probably could have made that. Because although those spikes are in a little precarious position, I don't know, all you do is you just jump upwards. I mean, I suppose it's a dash check to make sure that you still got your dash. Do have to do the momentum jump there, though. But at least I cut out, what, 2, 3 instances of that? So that's nice. I mean, pretty much everything in this game, as far as gimmicks go, has momentum, restoring your dash, and, I don't know, maybe giving you, like, a supplementary dash, sort of. Restoring a dash, supplementary dash, I suppose it's kind of the same thing. I don't know. I mean, definitely the sort of thing with this game is that this is still kind of in the simple mode. As you get in later, like, gimmicks on top of gimmicks on top of gimmicks start appearing, even though they all kind of fit the same sort of mold. It's neat in some ways, but also I think that kind of contributes to the later chapters becoming much, much longer in some ways. Which can be a good and bad thing. I mean, I suppose the game does allow you to... Yeah, there you go. The game does allow you to save and quit at any time and then just, I don't even know what I was trying there. The game does allow you to save and quit at any time and then come right back to where you were previously. But at the same time, even then, it can still kind of get to the point where you feel like, wow, I've been doing this area for a while. Oh boy, that one took a while. You might look at this and think, oh, this doesn't seem too bad. I cut out like 20 minutes there. Oh my god. I mean, even when I saw this for the first time, I was just like, I mean, it's impossible to die. That's nice. It is tear out your hair frustrating, though, at the same time, so... yeah! And well, not B-side, but the lo-fi remix for this one. Not as good as the very Meat Boy-esque type of music that you were getting during the B-side here. I like that. Made me think I was going through a salt factory or a hospital or something. Alright, alright. Point is, I got it here. Should be simple from this point. Nope, it's not. It never is. There. Yeah, just like right at the last second, right at the last frame getting that. And there's the heart. Black Moonrise, everybody. Not too bad, but there's just 2 sections in there that were just ungodly horrible. So there's chapter 1, chapter 2, plot's starting to pop off. Chapter 3? A pretty good one coming up here, I'll say that. Look forward to it.